I'm talking about, it's sort of jumping ahead. You're in that first job, and the things you need to think about: non-competes, non-solicits, non-interference clauses. For some of you, when I was talking a moment ago about your priorities and your deal breakers, for some of you, the non-compete or the non-solicit are the most important element in the contract. And if for instance, for all of you, we're all here in Philadelphia. If Philadelphia is home for you, or Philadelphia is where you think you can find your significant other, or Philadelphia is where you think you want to raise a family, a 15 or 20 mile non-compete from right here, think about where 15 miles from right here at Estia goes from. It's up to Abington, it's out past Lankenau, it's well past Cooper, and it's getting pretty close down to Crozier, because it's going to be as the crow flies. It's not going to be driving on the Schuylkill or driving on Kelly Drive with the, an employer wants to be as broad as possible. So for some of you, the non-compete's really, really important. Most of your employers are going to put a non-compete in there. It's going to say something like, during the term of this agreement, and for X years afterwards, employees shall not compete with employer by doing any of the following. Understand the radius. If you're working in Manhattan, it might be city blocks. If you want to go to central Pennsylvania, it might be counties where somebody's saying you can't work. If you're going to stay here in Philadelphia or in suburban Philadelphia or South Jersey, it might be zip codes and or miles in terms of where an employer doesn't want you to be. Be cognizant if your employer has multiple different offices. You could suddenly have a non-compete that goes from 5 different locations, even though you spend the majority of your time at 1 or 2 locations. Understand what the impact of that can be. If any of you are married or in a relationship with another physician, you have 2 sets of non-competes that potentially can be at play for you. Understand how that's going to work for you, because many hospitals have requirements in their medical staff bylaws. You have to be able to get to the hospital within 30 minutes. And if each of you have a 15 or 20 mile non-compete, one of you presumably doesn't want to sleep at the hospital one night a week or one weekend a month, or have to rent an apartment because you've got to comply with the medical staff bylaws in terms of where you need to be. So understand non-competes, understand how they apply, when they may not apply. Some states don't allow non-competes, like Delaware, no non-competes. What they do in Delaware, instead of a non-compete, they have what they call a liquidated damages provision, where it might say if you work in Newcastle County, which is where Wilmington's located, so it's the largest county in Delaware, if you work in Newcastle County, during the next 2 years, you agree as liquidated damages and not as a penalty that you, employee, will pay 12 months of your most recent W-2 income to your employer. Okay? How many of your prospective second job employers do you think will be willing to pay a year of your current salary for the privilege of having you start with them right away? If you came to me and I was in Delaware in a situation like that, you know what I'd say to you? Call me in 11 months. And when the non-compete ends, then I'm happy to talk to you about having you come on board. As special as you are, I'm not going to pay a year's salary to have you come on board. So understand how these non-competes and liquidated damages can work. In addition to that, I'm likely to include a non-solicit, which is going to say you're not going to solicit any of the patients. Even though you might have been the only person who interacted with those patients, they're still my patients as the employer. You're not going to solicit any of those patients or any family members of those patients. You're also not going to take any of the staff, even if the MA or the PA or the nurse practitioner, whoever it is working directly with you, or the office manager. You're not going to take that person to come along with you to go to a new job. Or it might also have a non-interference clause that says you as the employer are not going to interfere with any of the contractual relationships that me as the employer have developed. Again, for some of you, the non-compete, non-solicit is the most important. If you don't care about the non-compete, let's say you're going to take your first job in Philly and home for you is Florida or Pittsburgh. If I was you, don't worry about the non-compete. Get as much salary as you can, get as short as termination as you can, get as many benefits as you can, because when you get to that dream job location where you think it's going to be, you just need to make sure you have a smooth exit in terms of where you're looking to go.